welcome everyone that's here in attendance and for those who are with us online tonight. This time we'll call to order the commission meeting for Tuesday, August 25th. And at this time, City Clerk, would you please call roll?
Mayor Faulkner. Mayor Faulkner.
Here.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Here.
Vice Mayor Maples. Here. Commissioner Golden.
Here.
Commissioner Kendall.
Here. Thank you. And our invocation will be given by Pastor Mark Wilson, Church of God. And following that, would you please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you. You'll bow your hearts with me. Our eternal Father, we want to thank you. We want to honor you. We know it's our purpose and direction, Lord, in this life to give you glory and enjoy you forever. Enjoy your fellowship. We pray we do that tonight. We honor you as our wonderful counselor, as we certainly need a counselor in this time, in this place. We thank you and we honor you as our mighty God. We honor you as our everlasting Father. And we give glory to you as our Prince of Peace. We thank you for the peace of being in this place tonight. The minds will be clear, but most of all that, again, we would glorify you in everything that's said or done. We would look to you and praise you and worship you. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. And review of agenda changes. None. All right, then we'll proceed to the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Issues? There being none, I move to approve items 1, 2, 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second. Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Vice Mayor Maples to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples. Aye. Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye. All right. Next on the agenda is comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to make comments? And please, name and address.
Hello, my name is Melissa Phillips.
I'm sorry.
My name is Melissa Phillips, and my address is 418 South Main Street, PMB 369, Eufaula, Oklahoma, but I have a house here in Coffeyville, Kansas, which is 609 Penn Street. And I have a couple of concerns that I want to address to you that are policies and rules I believe that your authority creates, and that is the power of the city code enforcers to go into homes with warrantless searches for inspections. And another thing also is I believe that there is cherry picking of going after homes to find them for unmowed grasses. And if you have a grass that is not met to the standard, then they fine them. And then if they can't pay their taxes due to these fees, they lose their home. But then there's a lot of lots in Coffeyville, Kansas, and I have a copy for each of you commissioners. Actually, I have 4, so I apologize. I thought there was 4 photos of a house that has literally if you were to go out and measure them, I believe they're taller than 7 foot, but I did state that they were 7 foot tall. And that is the view from the residence that I have owned for many years. And it's a blight. I mean, I just feel that it's hypocritical to tax people for, especially with disability people or seniors, that maybe they're a little slow in getting to their grass for whatever reason. But then there's other lots that they just allow them to grow like a jungle, and it's unsafe. And so I would like to present to you these pictures, if I may. I apologize. Okay. Here's, actually, let's take this whole thing. It's for each one of you. There's basically my statement that I wanted to make tonight, and that, you know, I've had a house that I've owned for quite some time. I used to use it as a boarding house for the refining workers, regular tenants, and sold on contract for the. And I recently billed $2,000 for a cleanup, and I have a picture of the house that is not the house. This some company claimed they cleaned this house up, and it's 609 Penn Street, and this is the backyard. The after picture, this is not 609 Penn Street, and so I've been trying to get this bill corrected. And in addition to that, the statutes that mandate that if a nuisance or abatement fee is charged, it has to follow the statute, and it has to be certified that year and billed that year. And they're trying to bring this out, 2 years later. So I just don't think the statutes are being followed. But I would really appreciate if the mowing laws were basically enforced consistently. I would appreciate that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Come on up.
Hello again. Tom Wilson. You're probably getting all my emails. Okay. I'm at 5175 County Road 1425. Besides the consumption of our precious resources and extreme electrical demands that these data centers pose, and large water usage, even in a closed loop system, you still got a lot of water going through these cooling towers. The noise, the light, waste products that include PFAS or forever chemicals that do hurt humans and livestock. Right? Now I'm going to talk to you again about these financial side of the house, something that no one's talking about. These companies are projecting that they will provide prosperity to local communities, but they are borrowing more money. They are borrowing more money and hiding their debt off their books, making it extremely risky. This is almost like the .com or the Elron scams that are going on. These companies are not building to help our society. They're actually trying to top one another to see who'd be the baddest data center out there with the biggest AI. All right, and the debt. There's plenty of people warning about their debt and the overreach that they have. And what I'm urging you guys to do is to try to study this stuff. Go into the finances. Find out what's going on with these guys. If they come in here and they build a construction, all of a sudden they go belly up, or they send everything off site, go someplace else because they can't continue, we're going to be in trouble in this community. Lawsuits, bankruptcies, you name it. And I'm urging you all again, do your studies on these things. All right. I already told you once that these centers are there's 12,000 of these things worldwide. The United States has 4 times the amount of any other country. What do we need these things for? All right. We have plenty of AI for national security. We don't need it. So I'm asking you right now to do your studies. Look into these things. There's a bunch of speculators out here thinking that they're gonna get rich and they're gonna bring in, Meta, Amazon, these long-term agreements, and they're hedging their bets. If these guys have a hiccup somewhere where they say, sorry, we're running low on our money and our cash, we can't do it. We can't honor your agreement. And you got something sitting out there that can't be completed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I'll just follow him up since I'm already up here. Max Nelson, 1469 County Road 4500. He said, come on and stand with them. And that's what I'll do. And I'll do that for anyone if they feel like they need support. And that's because that's what community's about, right? You know, you stand together, you support each other. It's no question how I feel about the issue. You already know that. So I'm not here to browbeat you. The only point that I want to raise here is what America's built on, and that is community, right? And right now, I watched 2 meetings ago where you sat here and you're like, we want community engagement. We want people to be involved. We want people to show up. We want people to have input, right? Because that's how it really democracy works at its finest, right? You've got them. They're here. They're all here. They're all standing together with the same message. They're just asking for a moratorium. None of this is to say no, never, anything like that. You got a lot of people that are scared. You got a PR nightmare facing down the city here. I mean, 75%, the latest Gallup poll is 75% of Americans don't want these things in their backyard, their neighborhood, their community. I mean, that's where it's at. It's a PR nightmare, you know? At the end of the day, your job, and you know this, you all took an oath, is to, and Mr. Golden himself has said this many times, and I applaud you for that. Even though my view may be different, I signed up to represent the blue collar, the working man. Absolutely 100% awesome. This is all of your opportunity to do that same thing. Your community has voiced it over and over and over again. Take their word, give them what they're asking for, and not only be a shining star for your community of Coffeyville, which I love. That's why we moved here. That's why I'm standing here. But be an example for the rest of the world right now. I mean, do you really want to run the risk of these communities that are right around us, like Emporia and El Dorado, where city folk have to go and file petitions and then get sued by their own city and it goes to a judge? We don't have to do that. And that's why I urge you to put a moratorium in place. That's not a no never. That's get the facts first, then make the decisions. Not make the decision, sign a piece of paper, then figure it out afterwards. That's harkening back to my last statement. Let's not get the cart in front of the horse. Support your community. You get to make this decision once. Let's make sure it's the right one. Thank you for your time, Commissioner.
Thank you for your comments. Name and address, please.
Steve Keller, 1420 CR 5150, Coffeyville, Kansas. I've lived here for about going on almost 4 years. Moved here because I love the community, out of the way southeast Kansas. Now, what I'd like to talk about here is have any of you, ladies and gentlemen here, actually looked at the synopsis? Have you looked at the prospectus, the summaries, all these things about a data center? Are they really good for this small community? What will they bring to us other than money? Are they going to bring us more jobs? Around the nation, when you look at the average, it's about 20 jobs per data center. That's it. And when they come in, they make a lot of noise, and then they're gone. Good for the community, just like a hive of sugar. Then it's gone. So I got to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, have you really dug into what these data centers really do, other than what you hear and what you read on some of these social medias? You know, Mr. Brubaker, gentleman, really fine. He gave a nice presentation a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago. But it all sounded like he was really trying to shove it down our throats. A lot of smoke being thrown up our skirts. And, buddy, we have seen all the smoke from coast to coast. It's everywhere. We don't need this data center. And if we're going to be forced to have one, why don't you all take the time take 365 days just to look at it, examine it, and get it close, because we don't have a vote in this. We have no say-so whatsoever. And that's the hardening part of the whole thing. The Constitution of the United States says, we the people. Well, you all represent us. You know, we got you in office. I guess, you know, election's coming up again soon. Freedom rings out loud. Used to. Now we're socialists, communists, we're this, we're that. Let's keep Southeast Kansas free from these data centers. They got them everywhere else. Let us have our air. We got nice companies here. We got the refinery. We got other outfits that help us get along. And this half cent sales tax, that's a bunch of baloney. You know, stop. Think about us. We're the citizens. We're the ones who bring everything to the table. Just give us some time. Look the paperwork over. Give some close scrutiny before you make your decision, because it's going to affect all of us. And in turn, it's going to affect all of you and your grandchildren and generations on. So please, just really give this thing some serious thought. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Name and address, please.
My name's Joe Ferguson. I live at 107 Adams here in the city. Last Monday night, I went to the Republican Women of Montgomery County. They had the city manager as their speaker, and he was pushing the data center. And I got up and addressed him. I said, my great-grandfather was sitting on the city commission, and they had the old dam built. He had the old dam built while he was there. One of the things he did. That was about 100 years ago. 30 years ago, I went to another city commissioner, actually 3 or 4 of them as they passed through, and said, the new dam, the dirt's blowing away and washing away on the far side, and it's going to collapse if we don't do something. And 3 or 4 of them, I don't remember how many, said, oh, well, it's okay, it'll be all right, don't worry about it. Well, about 20 years ago, the new dam blew out. So 10 years ago, I went to the current city manager. I said, the dirt on the far side of the old dam is subsiding. There's some 2-foot by 2-foot square blocks of concrete, and they've gone down, and showed him pictures over the years how they've gone down. And they said, oh, poo-poo. Well, at the Republican Women's meeting this past Monday, I asked the city manager, these blocks on the far side are blowing out, are going to blow out, and what are you going to do? And the man said, where am I going to get the money? Well, if we don't have money enough to fix some 2-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot blocks, we do not have the money to entertain a data center. If you want to entertain a data center and gain my approval of that, send a representative of this town to Northern Virginia, which has been swallowed up by data centers, and ask the people of Northern Virginia, if you were in Coffeyville's shoes and had it to do over again, what would you do? And go to the VFW and the American Legion, and go to any taxpayer group and see what they have to say. And I will follow their advice, because these people have already been taken advantage of by slick talking billionaires. And I can see this happening to Coffeyville very easily if you folks don't do your job. And instead of that, you could think in terms of fixing the far side of the old dam, so the old dam doesn't blow out like the new dam did, like I predicted it would, and spend our money wisely. That's all I have to say. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Mr. Kassler?
Marcus Kassler, 502 Overlook. I would like to remind you all that there is an election coming up, and if you would like to run in 2027, I would allow you to do that. If you want a voice and feel that they are not speaking on what you want, you have the choice to run. It is not easy. It does not pay, but and there are choices that you have to make. But if you want to run, I would be more than glad to help you from someone who has ran. For able to do that. Now to address you guys, there was a recent tragedy on the bridge going out to Walmart. I sent you guys an email, and Mr. Brubaker responded to that. I thank you for that. Something needs done out there. It was Walmart's bold choice to move out there, and there is no walkability out to Walmart. That bridge is very unsafe. I believe Walmart has a responsibility to help the county and KDOT figure out something. Other cities do have a little side thing on the bridge where people can walk or ride bikes. I suggest putting a sign out there that says share the road and let people know that other people will be using that to walk on or something of that nature. Quite frankly, this isn't the first time it's happened, and we need to do something. But nothing's been done for quite a long time. I find it funny that I've heard rumors that Walmart helped pay for a flock camera out there, but they were not willing. But maybe they're willing to help out and get safeties to actually go out there. We deserve better. I know it's not your guys' problem. I believe it's considered a highway. So I don't know if it's county, if it's state, KDOT funding. There are KDOT fundings to help safer routes for biking and stuff like that. So I encourage you guys to look at that and actually do something out there instead of kicking the can down the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, then, there being none, we'll move on. And there are no hearings or proclamations. Old business, there's none. New business. Resolution R-26-93. A resolution authorizing the city of Coffeyville to apply for technical assistance grant funding from the Kansas Water Office for the Coffeyville Flood Risk Management Study. City Manager Ben Brubaker will make comments.
Well, Jim, you can stand by in case we need you here.
Come right on back up. Don't go away.
So, Commission, you recall that several weeks ago came to you and you approved using some of our economic development funds. I believe it was up to $400,000 of those funds in support of the Army Corps of Engineer coming out to do their study. This is an effort that we're trying to find other funds. That amount for that study over the period of time was maximum supposed to be $1.5 million. That's a 50-50 cost share with the federal government. Of course, Senator Moran is the one that found the first $500,000 for that, for the Corps side. So this is an opportunity to apply for a grant to get the rest of that covered. Now, as cost as recommended on here is $500,000. That's $100,000 more than we asked for out of Economic Development Fund. And so that would be a little bit a change to what we're paying. Now, I've also spoke with the refinery and CRNF, and there's no hard commits of funds there. There are some soft commits that they may be able to support as well. So really, to your pleasure on how you want to move forward. I know we were still hesitant in putting any money into this. We'll say if we retract the money that we've committed today, which I think we've probably only incurred around $50,000 of that $400,000, that would end the core study, immediately. Now the county has said that they don't have funds to support this. The Verdigris River Drainage District, who will be having their budget meeting in this room on the 31st of August, they don't have funds. There's not enough people to tax in that district to get the quantity of funds that are needed. So it's really left up to the city of Coffeyville to get that study. Turn it over to you for any questions on this grant.
I still don't
Yeah.
understand why they had a study. We've had studies over the last year or two that you spoke of, and we had to have another study.
Yeah, so the deliverable of this study, which we have not had. So the studies we've done have um, one has tested water flow, right? One has tested pieces to the bridge. So they are taking those studies and incorporating into this. This is a feasibility study. The deliverable at the end of that study would be their recommended plan and 35% engineering cost to build out that plan. And so really because this is a partnership of the Corps and you can't do things on those waterways, those levees without them. This is a necessary step to go and move forward on anything. So yes, there has been studies. We've been looking at this since 2019, but all of those studies were essentially trying to convince the federal government that this was a realistic cause to come and do their official feasibility study.
So we have to spend more money to get them to come.
Yeah, we're going to definitely have to spend money. Now, the studies that have happened, we haven't paid any money for those. They were all through grant funding. But yes, to get the Corps to do this, and this happened in Arc City. This is happening down south of us in Tulsa. This is just sort of how they operate. We were one of only 7 cities that got federal appropriations money for the Corps to go do this in the whole country. A lot more applied than that. So I hear what you're saying. Yes, we unfortunately got to spend money to go study and have future plans on this. And this is not something that we go spend this 1.5 million that in a few years you'll see a change. This working with the Corps, coming down to projects that actually get done take decades.
But we haven't actually spent any money yet. The studies have been through grants.
And the ultimate goal is that they will study this and possibly do the project to raise the levy.
Yeah, they will come up with what is the recommended course of action. They will come up with, I believe it's 35%. Let me just pull it up real quick.
Then while you're looking for that, just kind of a reminder for those that are listening, we are prohibited from doing anything to the levee unless the study is done. So this has to be done first, then we can decide what needs to be done to improve the levee.
Yeah,
Short version.
yeah, prohibited is strong. I don't want to give the complete indication. We could go down a path to try to do this ourselves, but you absolutely have to have the Corps participate in that. It's very difficult to get them to participate, and it being on a federal appropriations, they're essentially forced to participate now. So if we went about it ourselves, you're adding a lot more time to get something done. We had our first meeting with the Corps, it was a Zoom meeting. The feasibility study will conclude with a recommended plan going forward and a 35% design build out. The next step to that, as we talk to Moran's office, is for them to go help us find money then to actually implement that. So we're not going to get more federal appropriations, same thing, without this study. Moran's office is going to have a difficult time taking that further without the Corps study.
What are we doing the study for?
What was
What
that?
are all these studies for? Commissioner Hendricks mentioned raising the levy.
So
Why would we need to raise the levy?
So it doesn't flow.
yeah, so per the levels of the river today, our levy and the height of the levee, our levee cannot be a certified levee, cannot mitigate insurance, floodplain management, all those things. We are essentially our rating in this community is you're just ready for a flood. There's nothing there protecting.
In other words,
So the study is saying we know this levee is not in a condition to hold back floodwaters if they come again. So what do we need to do to get it to a point where it will protect the community from floodwaters?
in other words, if you raise a levy, the whole east side of town that flooded during the 2007 flood, if you raise the levy enough, you can get that declared a no flood zone, and that changes.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. You know, we've tried to apply for a lot of grants at the fairgrounds, federal grants. We cannot. The environmental studies that we have to do in those grants come back as in a flood zone with no protection, no federal funding. Go to that. The CVR and the nitrogen fertilizer plant, their problem right now is they're not they're not getting permission because they're in the flood zone to increase the height of their levee unless a study is done and something happens to the community levee. So that's why they're high participants and I'm going to say soft commits on supporting the funding of this project because they want to increase the levee in their property. So a lot of federal waterway regulations is what we're dealing with, and this is the process you have to go through.
So
Lobby them, Ben. Lobby them.
The Corps?
Yeah, the refinery,
Oh,
CRNF.
Yeah, they don't like me right now because we have been working with them for 2 years, and
Well, lobby them for
we'll
some
keep
of
going.
this,
Yeah,
some of this money.
I have talked to Robbie, and he was the one without me asking for money that said, if you find yourself that you can't find the money, come talk to me. We'll push that towards our headquarters. So again, that's a soft commit that, and they've been in all the meetings. They've been good partners since 2019 on this, as far as the efforts that have been put in place by the county to study.
So
Still
I have a
think
question. The flood zone that's now on the east side, how far does that extend? From the bridge, how far to the west?
It's a line like this, so it'd be better if we have a map
Okay,
of those districts. I can show you.
I was just curious as to how much we're losing by having all that in the flood zone.
Yeah, there's
And
of
I think
course
they-
some of the houses on that side of the tracks are affected, not all of them.
Mhm.
Most of the businesses that we have over there.
That's what I thought.
And if I remember, they updated the map based on where the water actually was.
It did, 07.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then a little bit past that.
And that's one thing to note is in these studies of them saying the levee's not good enough, they don't even use the numbers from 07. Because the levels that we got in both 2017 and especially 2019, that was enough, again, to make this better determination that we should do a feasibility study. A lot of people ask me, oh, you'll never see 2007 again. They're not even using those numbers.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Then I move to approve resolution R-26-93 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Hicks to approve resolution R-26-93 as presented. Vice Mayor Maple.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Aye.
Next is resolution R-26-94, a resolution accepting a Transportation Alternatives Program grant from the Kansas Department of Transportation for the Coffeyville Sidewalks and Crosswalks Project, committing the required local match and authorizing the mayor to sign the required documents. Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comment. Good evening.
Our recommendation is to accept the KDOT Transportation Alternatives Grant approved, approve the estimate, the city match, and authorize the mayor to sign the award letter. What it is the city will be responsible for the right-of-way utility and non-participating costs of anything over $856,000. Our estimate was $1,069,000 that we submitted. The city was notified in August that our sidewalk crosswalk project was selected for $856,000 to KDOT's Transportation Alternatives Program. The grant will cover 80% of the participating costs, with the city responsible for an estimate of $213,859. The project will construct approximately 6,100 square yards, or about just over 2 miles of sidewalks along Norwood, Highland, Edgewood, Ohio, and Northfield. You don't know where Norwood is? Norwood is The street, 4th Street turns into Norwood once you cross the Sycamore Creek, and then it turns into Highland. Also a pedestrian refuge island with rectangular rapid flashing beacons. So that would be in the middle of the block between 4th and 1st to cross over to Sherwin-Williams Park. There's always people out there playing Frogger on Saturday mornings and taking their kids to school, picking them up. So there will be a pedestrian island on the center turn.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I'm not questioning the grant itself, but throughout the city, we have miles, literally miles of sidewalks that are cracked, buckled, missing. And, what's the criteria for selecting these sidewalks for replacement or addition rather than addressing the ones that are in the central city that are in either non-existent or in much needed repair? What's the criteria, and why are we out there instead of in the center city?
I believe this grant is specific to school. Is that correct, Jim?
Vicinity of
Well,
the school.
it has to do with our plan that we will be asking for. I believe we've applied to have our plan updated, which is our safe routes to school.
Okay, so this is tied to safe routes to schools.
It is on our plan. that
All
we
right.
have. Also around that, on that plan is the sidewalks around, I believe it's the high school and junior high. Is that correct, Weber? Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right.
this goes to funding that you have available and what the applicable reasons are within those grants. And so the grants that we're talking about, this is what applies. That's why those areas are picked. At any time there's grants. So in 24, if you recall, we applied for several miles of sidewalks up to about $1 million. We got close to that grant, but we're not awarded that. So this is just one of those. It came open. We apply. There are specific things that you can and can't do with those funds.
All right. Thank you. That was, and I will admit, that was a rhetorical question, but I just wanted everyone out there to understand that this is the plan, and we're tying it to the schools to keep the kids safe as they're going to school. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Yeah,
Commissioners?
and I'll mention this like I always do. We got to start looking at more centralized areas of the town, as I always mention when we do roads and the decisions. And I ask you, Ben, all the time how we decide, and we can't just focus on one area. We got to focus on the whole. We got a whole city.
Yeah,
Thank
the sidewalks, the streets that are in play the remaining of this year and into 27 were agreed upon by commission. We do not have a 28 plan yet. We're looking into the end of 27. And so generally by the end of the year, beginning of the year, we sit down in work session and start asking commissioners to look at roads again. We bring that data in. We show you everything from most used roads, greatest impact, what the condition are today, and those are the decisions the commission can make to move forward on this project.
Sidewalks too now, right? As Mayor Faulkner mentioned,
Yeah,
there's a lot of disrepair in sidewalks around town.
It again depends on how much money we say you have to use, and you guys get to choose where to put that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, there being none, I move to approve resolution R-26-94 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, second by Commissioner Bolden to approve resolution R-26-94 as presented. Commissioner Bolden.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Mayhew. Aye.
Thank you. And don't go away, Jim. You're up again. Resolution R-26-95. A resolution to approve a construction contract with Elements Construction Concepts Incorporated for wastewater treatment plant and blower piping repairs. Director of Public Works Jim Wright will make comments.
As part of the city's ongoing commitment protecting our citizens and the environment, staff at the wastewater treatment plant discovered that the blower piping utilized in the process of treating the city's wastewater has begun to fail. An exploratory repair plan was put together. Bids were opened August 12th. 2 bids were received, and our recommendation is to award the bid to Elements Construction Concepts Incorporated to begin making those exploratory repairs.
And what is blower piping?
One of the main things that helps feed the bugs, they talk about the bugs at the wastewater system inside the basins, and that is oxygen, air that gets pumped in to all 4 of the basins. There are large compressors inside a compressor room there that pump air, and they're buried pipelines around the basins. There was black pipe when it was put in 25 years ago. Anybody knows what you do with black pipe when it's stuck in the ground, it starts to rot. So that is what's happened. We discovered that was going on. So this is being replaced. Stainless steel is being put in. This is an exploratory contract. They're going to repair and replace the parts and pieces that we are aware of that are bad. So it's very likely the engineering on this contract could expand and also change orders be added to this when we get started.
So we're replacing 25-year-old piping. And to kind of go along with what you said, this is more of an exploratory surgery. So we could find more.
That is correct. We're also, and the age of the wastewater plant you brought up is 25 years. We are currently seeking funding to do a perform an evaluation on the wastewater plant. So hopefully we can spend over the next 25 years a few $1 million and keep this thing going. So it will last till it's 50 to 60 years old.
Commissioners, questions?
Nope.
Being none, I move to approve resolution R-26-95 as presented.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second? Motion made by Mayor, seconded by Commissioner Bolt to approve resolution R-26-95 as presented. Commissioner Bolt.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bolt. Aye. Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowman.
All right. Next is resolution R-26-96, a resolution to approve repairs by Foley Equipment to the public service track loader. Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will once again make comments.
What we have is a 1991 Caterpillar 953 track loader. I don't know the year that the city had bought that. I'm assuming it's mid to late 90s since when they purchased this, and it has been in service ever since. Now, recently the tracks have become so loose they won't stay on. The machine has been maintained fairly well. The engine and transmission. I know the transmission was rebuilt in-house probably 12 to 15 years ago, but the everyday maintenance when it needs to be done on the tracks, such as that have failed at that. So the tracks will not stay on. And this probably should have been done 5, 6 years ago. But the price that we got was anywhere from $32,000 to $40,000 to do this. So, and it is, the parts I believe are somewhere in that $18,000 to $20,000 range. So the rest would be labor. I know both companies we got prices from would have to send mechanics down to get it back functional so they can load it on a trailer and take it back to the shop. So we have looked at replacements of this. This is, I think originally it was bought to dig pits. And they had the construction demolition landfill that was tearing down a lot of houses. That was there. So its main purpose now is to take care of the tree dump, which they have quite a bit to handle. A lot of fires they use it with. So we've looked at just scrapping this one and selling it. And if we get something about the same age, we're looking at spending $38,000 to $50,000. So We can repair what we have or what we know is good, the engine and transmission, but fix the tracks on it for that $35,000 to $40,000 and have about the same age machine if we was to go buy one somewhere else.
with an unknown history.
Mhm.
Correct. Most of them that we're looking at that age has got considerably more hours than this one has.
How often is this used, Jim?
Hasn't been used very much in the last few months, but
In
it's
a typical year?
it's used probably twice a week.
Okay.
Because they get a lot of tree service. They come and dump at our tree dump. A lot of citizens come. We're open 4 days a week. So it is used weekly, minimum weekly. And when we go to burn, it's used every day for 2 or 3 days.
I've had the pleasure of throwing a track or two many years ago. I understand completely.
So it's beneficial to have it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like we was going to replace this new. I didn't price them new, but I'm guessing it's going to be in the $300,000 range.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, I'll move to approve resolution R-26-96 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hicks, seconded by Vice Mayor Maples to approve resolution R-26-96 as presented. Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Thank you, Jim. Next is resolution R-26-97, a resolution to approve the purchase of a new digger derrick truck from Alltech for the City of Coffeyville Electric Utility. Director of Electric Chris Weiner will make comments. Try to give you a new name. Chris.
Evening.
Thank you for your time. I have Kurt Taylor, our distribution superintendent, come up here with me in case you have any particular questions. I know that this was discussed at the budget work session that we had last week, but certainly I know there were some questions there that I'd be happy to address this evening. But this particular agenda item is one that's been deferred since 2023. It was on the budget or in the budget to be replaced in 2023. It's a 2008 Sterling digger derrick. It was deferred, was not purchased back in 2023. So as you can imagine, the costs to purchase this piece of equipment have just went up since then. We do have a couple of options here before us. I believe you hopefully have in your agenda packets and what those options are. We have the purchase route, which is what we're recommending, because at the end of the day, it's the best business decision, in my opinion, the cheapest cost to the city and for the utility for the taxpayer. That's at a cost of for the truck itself is just about $392,000 with tax on that, whereas the city does not normally pay tax. For the electric utility, for the distribution side at least, we do have to pay sales tax. So that's why there's a little over $3,000 in tax associated with this purchase. But if we got a little bit lucky with regard to this particular piece of equipment, and that another utility backed out this particular digger derrick, and so they knew that we were in need of one. We've been talking to them now for a few years. Alltech is the company. And we had slated to replace this actually in 2027 was when it was on the capital improvement plan. At this point, because it had been deferred in 23, 24, etc., I was hoping to get this replaced next year, but felt like this was worth bringing to you for your consideration because we have a heck of an opportunity here to get this vehicle at a significant cost reduction compared to if I were to order the exact same truck today. We would not, for one, get it until 2029, compared to when this vehicle, I believe, will be available at the end of this year. That truck would be a base cost of almost $478,000 compared to the $392 that we could get this one for. So again, that's $85,000 difference compared to if we say yes to this one and we get it this year, or I say you want to order the exact same truck, but I don't want this one, then it'll be we'll get it 2 years later, 2.5 years later, and pay $85,000 more for it. So I feel like that's an opportunity that I shouldn't wait, 4, 5, 6 months to place this order. So that way it's in the 27 budget, and end up paying another 85 to 100, $120,000 more because we decided we would wait till 27. It is a little bit over budget compared to what we had planned for. We had budgeted 400,000 or so was kind of what we were expecting to pay, but as I referenced, the cost of these has grown exponentially. For the actual purchase price, I that 400,000 can cover that 392, but then when you add the sales tax onto it, I do eclipse that number, unfortunately. And with that said, as we've discussed previously, we are looking at other things that we can try and cut back on to try and have some resources available for this, for these things that do go over budget. We do have another option that you should have in your packet. That is a lease purchase option. That's a 96-month lease at about $5,365 a month. So that's a 96-month lease, and so you take that number times 96, and you come up with $515,000 or $515,040. So we could lease it, but we're going to pay an extra over $100,000 or so for that piece of equipment. Commissioner Golden did have a question that I'd be happy to address as far as could we go ahead and rebuild it on the existing chassis. And Kurt can address this further, but my understanding, and correct me where I'm wrong here, I'm sure I'll get something wrong, but our situation is essentially that this piece of equipment is used daily by our crews. And so while it would be theoretically possible to say, hey, can we have this chassis repurposed to replace the equipment on it, we would need to send that off to get that assessment done, have a cost assessment. That could take weeks or months. I'm not exactly sure. And then after that, we then have the cost numbers back, and we have to make a decision: do we go ahead and rebuild it, which then could take yet more time. Again, we use this piece of equipment on a daily basis. We have 2 of them. Well, we have 3, but 1 is not operational. And so the goal would be that we get another good digger derrick, that then we can make this one our kind of third out truck, our backup truck. And then hopefully we might be able to look at have that rebuilt, so that way we have a quality backup digger derrick that then here 5 years from now, when we go to replace the other digger derrick, that we can maybe resell this one and get better value out of it, because now it's in a relatively good position.
Chris,
chassis at some point when you
for those that may not know, can you describe what a digger derrick does?
So I'll let Kurt tackle that one. That's a much the digger derrick will dig holes for the poles, set poles, big transformers like brand new bigger transformers. Pulling in wire, we got caps and points set up on them, pulling big long wires that way. So you have your bucket trucks that you need to be able to get up and deal with the lines, and fix transformers, fix fuses, and then you have the digger derrick, which is the workhorse that actually digs the holes. That has the big auger on it that will dig the hole. It'll lift the pole. It'll set the pole. It'll have the components that you can pull the wire to where you're able to do a lot of heavy lifting that a bucket truck cannot do, and that realistically we need that piece of equipment to be able to, especially in the event that we have significant storms or whatnot, we ought to be able to try and accomplish things efficiently and quickly to be a reliable utility as we are. We have approximately 25,000 poles in our system, and off of Mr. Taylor's numbers, that was how many poles a year? I think we're expecting a lifespan of about 70 years per pole. I think that is honestly a little bit generous. I don't know that we're going to get 70 years out of a pole, but with a 70-year lifespan, 25,000 poles, we need to be replacing 357 poles a year. So we're replacing, when you have 52 weeks in a year, you only work 5 days of those of each week. That's about 250 to 260 working days a year. we need to be replacing a pole and a half a day to be able to keep pace with replacing a pole every 70 years. And realistically, we need to be on a better base than that. Mr. Hendrick, you have a question?
Yep. Okay, I'm agreeing with get the new truck at this price since it presented and somebody else backed out. It's a good deal. Next question is, you mentioned possibility of extended warranty.
Yes, sir.
What can you
So-
tell me more about that?
So this does have the extended warranty. So it is,
It does have the extended warranty.
yes, the,
Okay.
let's see here. Was it this one?
Yeah, it said 7 more years, 200,000 miles.
Yeah, so
So
the
that
extended
includes
warranty, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that includes that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the base truck itself is $363,000. Then the extended warranty and some other components to you have the drivetrain, et cetera. That comes to a total of $29,160 to add the extended warranty, to add there are multiple other pieces here, I believe
Which takes it to the 10-year mark.
that takes us to the. I think now some things I believe it was 7 years. Okay, yeah. So this come for the $29,000 we get. Yeah, we get an extra 7-year extended warranty. So you get 8 years total the first year plus 7 more for labor, material, and expense. You get custom chassis, transmission extended warranty, additional 7 years, additional 7 years, 200,000 miles on the
Yeah, it said chassis,
engine.
engine, and transmission. What's included under the category of chassis?
So we would have.
I think I know, but clarify.
So we've got like chassis, probably going to be your frame, axles,
Okay.
springs, everything on your actual frame.
Steering.
Probably. So I guess, I hope. But the chassis itself is an extra $2,800. The transmission is an extra $1,200.
And the digger is 3 years, and you cannot buy an extended warranty on the digger.
Because you're saying like the auger, or
yeah, it's hydraulically driven, right? So the pumps and
Yeah.
motors for that
Yes.
are not covered. They only go to 3 years.
So I believe that'd be. I believe it was part of the 7-year extended. I think
Part of the chassis.
Yes, I would believe. Well, so I believe it's just covered under the $17,500 component there. That is extended warranty, labor, material, and expense. 8 years total, 7 years extended, category 5. So essentially, that's if we have to have the auger worked on, the labor's covered, the materials are covered. So purchasing the extended warranty, I think should cover us. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
If we were to say, hey, we don't want to spend that $29,000,
No, it's a good idea,
but
especially everyday user.
So based on the current usage, do you have any projections regarding if we'll make it? Will we run out of warranty before we get to that point? Will we run out of miles? Will we exceed the provisions of the warranty before the date expires? No. Okay.
I think our existing vehicle has 50,000 miles or so on it, so we're not going to come close to 200,000 miles.
Okay.
It'll be a year.
It's 50,000 miles, but they said it had 16,000 hours on it.
Yeah, the engine has a lot of hours on it. These vehicles do a lot of hoisting these poles because we take them to the pole yard. We'll have to pick up poles with them. We'll haul them to the site.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of engine hours running at PTO to dig the holes, and there's a lot of time that these are used, but not necessarily a lot of miles.
Less miles and more hours working.
Correct.
Okay.
So just to clarify, labor, material, expenses is 100% covered in this warranty.
For the next 8 years.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
How many poles are we setting a day currently?
Probably going to average about we could be designated to just handing out those. Some guys may take us 2 days to check out, especially in heat. Ready. Set a poll here you can do next morning. Try to do the others. We appreciate it. 2 days, some poll will take 3. Just kind of depends on what's on the poll. Some polls we're not going to get to. Not every day do we get the chance to change out. These pieces of equipment are also oftentimes, especially during storms or after storms, utilized to hold up a pole. That literally we will just be deployed to hold a pole in place that otherwise would be on the ground and causing a hazard to other people, or we'd have to kill electricity because we're just trying to keep power restored to as many people as we can until we can get to that pole to fix it the way it needs to be fixed. But we're trying to keep the public in power. There's also been situations where I think here a few months ago we had a situation where we helped out a local business for quite a while. That's needed. They had a project going on, and so we were trying to be very community oriented. And so we're trying to say, hey, how can we assist in this situation? So there are opportunities that in situations that these trucks get utilized that we get very shorthanded. So it's difficult at times even to make do with the really 2 operational trucks that we have, but it's definitely something that comes in incredibly handy. One of the trucks, we just sent up to Kansas City. We responded to a mutual aid event up in Kansas City last week. I think the guys just got back today. So we were
Stole
gone.
my thunder.
Sorry.
I was going to thank Kurt and his whole crew, and so with that transition, mutual aid, I think I called most of the commissioners and talked about that's something that we get that mutual aid as well. This one was through KMU. We just signed one with MISO in Oklahoma 2 weeks ago. So when we sign those agreements, this is what we're talking about. So I want to thank Kurt and his crew for going up there and responding and really representing Coffeyville well when it comes to other communities in need. The same thing that we would ask them to come support us.
Okay. And so we took a digger derrick with us because we had 2. I wouldn't have been able to do that if we didn't have these 2 operational ones, but we sent a full crew up to try and help out. We definitely hope and expect that others may be able to assist us in the same way in the event we have a bad storm come through town. So definitely helpful that we have the equipment to be able to respond both locally as well as to assist others that may need it, because I'm certainly hopeful that at some point Coffeyville is going to need it, and I like to be able to have those relationships in place.
Any other questions?
Any questions? All right, then I move to approve resolution R-26-97 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by me, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks to approve resolution R-26-97 as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples. Aye. Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Commissioner Kimball.
Aye.
Mayor Paul.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. At this time, we have the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that first item was that mutual aid. So again, thank Kurt and his team for going out there and supporting. I think it was a hailstorm that came into the Kansas City area, caused a lot of damage. The thing to note, again, with those mutual aids is there's FEMA and state dollars that go to that, and we were reimbursed for expenses. I think last year we sent fire crews out twice for fires on mutual aid as well. We have those through most all of our utilities and emergency services, those type of mutual aids with other people in both Kansas and Oklahoma. The tax sale list was announced at the county commission meeting on Monday. Coffeyville has something like 230 properties that will be on that tax sale list. They have not identified the date yet where they'll go and auction off those properties. They're expecting somewhere between the end of September and into October. So we'll have a report for you next commission meeting where we've gone through and identified those properties, concerns we have, opportunities. Of course, the Brown building, the Brown Furniture building is on that list. We'll have to decide, Commission will decide if we want to deploy any of our housing funds um, to help spur on development here. Um, the tax sale, these properties are from 2019 to 2022. So anything that's happened 23 and on is actually not considered within these properties. The other thing is, although there is a list, it does not necessarily mean it's the final list. Property owners still have time to go in and pay the different tax values that are accurate. How long do they have up till the auction? So they have up to the day of sale. So what's on there today that could shrink, but right now, and I believe Coffeyville's got the most properties on there that I look through. Independence gets close, but we pretty much have more than all the rest there. There is a list of um, one property owner that has 15 properties on there, and we maintain those properties all the time. Those are some of the regular owners. So it's a good opportunity for people to come out that want to take care of their properties and buy that. The other thing we did this year, we have not done before, Ashley has generated a card. I'm asking permission from the county treasurer to put in a poster board, and she'll let us. Sometimes they'll have a slideshow that just gives quick links to our planning and zoning, the different regulations, the code regulations. Oftentimes, we'll have people that will come in and buy 10 of these properties and then don't know what our ordinances are on grass and the upkeep that we expect, and you just immediately rinse and repeat, put these properties back in. So we're trying to avoid that, educate people. Also, oftentimes we don't know how to contact the new owners of these because it can take months to get that into the Register of Deeds list. And so we have a form that we're hopeful they'll fill out, give us their contact information so we can be good partners with those properties. So that is coming up. Coffeyville Proud is on the 18th this month. Starts at 8 a.m., goes to 12 p.m. This is our Amber, is this our third iteration? Amber, third time? Fourth time. Fourth time with Coffeyville Proud that we've done that. We've had a lot of volunteers come out. We really appreciate the community showing up to do that. As always, please reach out to the city and submit your ideas for service projects that we can do. We're always looking for more. Budget, we expect, of course, Commission, you have another week or so if you want to come in and do any final evaluation of the budget individually with staff. At this point, unless I hear otherwise from you, we were not planning to have another work session. Felt like within the last two that we've accomplished and communicated what's on there, what the needs are. Again, you're welcome to come in anytime, visit with Marty and I. We can go over that final, but that we'll start the process of submitting that and getting our meeting set up here end of September. It's probably our second meeting in September. You'll see that come before the public meetings. I did get a report this last week of folks who were out at the pickleball courts. I'm trying to call them the pickleball courts now, not the tennis courts. But we had some light issues. We believe that those were resolved. I haven't heard since this weekend if there's any further issues. Had some fuse problems there. Also, we were told today that we have a few blocks on 9th Street where the lights are out, so that we have gone out and evaluated that. We're working to resolve that as well. I did get a message tonight as we're sitting here that we had the first official tennis meet. I think that was Andy Taylor that sent me that. First Field Kinley High School tennis meet at the Clarence Strickland courts in many years. So it's fun to see the school out there utilizing that for their sports season here. Electric spend. There is a report. I think it's item 2 in your packet there, and it goes over some expenses. Some of those expenses would normally come to commission, but following our procurement policy, both for an enterprise fund and for an ongoing immediate project, went ahead and gave the approval to spend that. Again, those are in there so you can look at some of the details. I've had more, I believe, come in since then. This is the Substation B transformer project. So just to remind you about that project, our nitrogen fertilizer plant is covering the full cost of about a $20 million project. This is to purchase 2 new transformers. These are upgraded transformers. The reason the cost goes 100% to them is it's only devoted for them, and that's our contractual agreement for that particular high load user. We have around $6 million that we're expecting them to pay. We're trying to get that finalized for work to this point, and moving forward, we're still negotiating out bond options for them to cover the rest of that amount in the city. These transformers, if you happen to drive by Substation B, I think Chris is one of the transformers is there now, or is it still on the rail car? Okay. So it is set on that ongoing project. You can go out and see this thing came in on a rail car. These transformers are massive industrial transformers. The other one should be coming here in a few days. And so there'll be more costs like this as the contractors are out there placing those and starting the process.
And where is Substation B? For people?
It's just over here up against I think, First Street, Kurt.
Is it the one on First Street?
Yeah, First Street.
Yeah.
Right there by CBR. Again, massive transformers. I mentioned them perhaps being a little grouchy with me right now. Again, we've been doing some negotiations for 2 years. They've been tying some things that we don't believe should be tied to this project, so we're trying to finalize that. We did meet with John Coyle, who of course has been helping us for decades with our electric work there. So we're trying to wrap that up. Expect those to be paid here within the next month. And then you'll more than likely, again, part of the negotiation is they're not sure they want to go to bond option. They don't have to. That's a resource that commission and city staff before myself gave as an option. So we're just trying to finalize that. If we were to go the route of the bond, you just saw the water bond. We would come in and do a similar process, a little bit different since the funding is not going to us. It's going to an existing business. With that, commissioners, I don't have anything else, barring any questions from you.
Commissioners?
I got a couple things. Lights on the flag football field. Is there a way we can put some up there for them? I guess the soccer fields have lights, but not the flag football fields. Out there by, I believe it's over there by Williams Park.
Okay. Generally speaking, that is leased to Coffeyville Rec.
Okay.
Occasionally we'll do projects together. Generally that's them. So I'll have to reach out to David Rains and just ask about situation with lights, if there's planned and lights. Oftentimes for things like that, it's coming out of their budgets to update those fields.
Okay. Second, are we having some billing issues with electric? Are we having billing issues with electric? I know it's hot and it uses more resources and everything running. But I know a couple people I've talked to over the last week said their bills jumped up $200 or $300 in a month.
Yeah. Yes. I wouldn't say there's any billing issues. I'll have to go down and speak to them directly. But yes, it's hot. PCA is in full swing now, where a year ago it was not. That was essentially revenue that the city was not charging that it was supposed to, and because we have that rolling bill, you're seeing the full weight of that bill now in the summer. As far as any particular issues, none that I've heard reported. Happy to go and ask that question and get back to you, but you're just seeing the full weight of those electric bills.
All right, thank you.
And again, for the benefit of the public, would you explain what PCA is?
That is your couple different ways to look at that, but it's power cost adjustment. So the more electricity that we all use in the summertime, it's supply and demand. Gas prices are going up. What is the true cost to get you that electricity when everybody's using their AC at the heat of summer? All the different load, all the different users, that's what you experience. It's It's the adjustment of the true cost to deliver that electricity.
Okay, thank you.
And that is set by GRDA.
Commissioners?
I have payment report.
Well, before you do that,
Okay.
I have a couple of items. First of all, the other day driving was on the street between 8th and 11th, a little curvy street. I can remember the name of it there. That's the extension of Klein. Okay. I noticed that that section of Sycamore Creek through that area, you can't see. I mean, it's level. I mean, there's so many. It's overgrown so badly that that's city property. I think right there, that area. So it shows up blue on the map anyway. And then
South of
Sycamore,
8th, is that what you're
yeah,
talking about?
between 8th, yeah, Sycamore Creek that's on the west side of the street going from 8th to 11th. There, and then the portion of Sycamore Creek that's in Sycamore Park. Probably ought to take a look at that. I mean, we're not expecting any monsoons soon, but before the rains start in the winter and spring, it's something you need to take a look at.
Yeah, we'll definitely look at the city property map. We'll have Public Works go take a look. It's a good reminder for property owners too that their property comes to the middle of Sycamore Creek, and so we need to be looking at that in our residential neighbors and their properties as well, so that we don't cause further problems like we did. Was that last year? We didn't go in. Okay, but we'll look at the city property in that area.
All right.
Ben, question and then a comment. Question is, can you touch briefly on what you and I were messaging about for the general public to understand what's going on with the new tornado siren that we've grown so accustomed to and it's not going off anymore?
Yes, that was on the list. I totally skipped it. Thank you for the reminder. We just have it, like many things that we're doing with the city. It's old, so we have some software problems. It is on the budget for 2027. It's about a $6,000 spend to go in. It's not the physical sirens, but to actually upgrade the software that just isn't compatible anymore. And so those issues came to fruition here just a few days ago, to where the sirens are not being tested. So we do have just trying to wrap up today what our official statement is. We're going to probably put something out on social media tomorrow to the press so people know. Have multiple ways to get notified about severe weather. Because right now that automatic alarm is not working.
So to be clear, it's just a manual noon type thing that's programmed in.
Yeah,
the sirens themselves are not damaged or broken. It's just the noon. If we were to have inclement weather come in,
you wouldn't hear it. No. So at noon is just that, essentially testing it every day so you know it's active, it's there. But they are not working at all. So whether inclement weather comes in now, that's hooked into the National Weather Service, and so they essentially trip that and it turns on, versus us manually waiting to sign when to put that. It's connected into the National Weather Service, but that is a computer system that is not working right now because the software is having problems because it's outdated.
Do we have an expected? I didn't catch if you had a time frame when it's going to be finished.
I don't have a time frame right now. Technically, it's not budgeted for this year. It is only $5,000 or $6,000, so we are trying to figure out where to go pull money to take care of that. Appreciate it. Thank you. And luckily, it's not tornado season, but of course, tornadoes can come whenever they want. Yes.
For this one's going to go out towards Amber and her staff. I was able to watch from start to finish a phone call go out to animal control in reference to a dog and needed to be picked up and brought out to your center. The call went out about 27 minutes later. Animal control responded on site. They assessed the situation very professionally, calm, cool, collected, approached the animal cautiously with, I would imagine, in the parameters of the job description. So I was kind of proud to see it all go together so quickly, and it was handled fantastic. So kudos to your staff, Luciano.
That you do have the neighborhood preservation report. If you notice that back page at the very end, there's the statistics on the animal control side of everything. Still a situation that is out of control. I purposely have the shelter and code enforcement in different departments because code enforcement doing their job wants to get all those animals off the streets. So they're either not a nuisance or they're not a public harm. The shelter, on the other hand, has to manage the shelter based on state laws, and we can't have the capacity that really need to be off the street. So they are doing a great job. We've given them training. We've added to the number of folks who are out responding to that. There's a new phone number directly for them. So there's a lot of things we're trying to do, but animals are out of control, unfortunately. And so we're just sort of one call away from major issues, and we've had a lot, some pretty major ones recently.
Well, keep up the good work. It was nice to see the whole thing come together in such a short time.
Any other questions? Payment report.
My turn. All right. So we've got a pretty significant spend this pay period. I'll give you some highlights. Asplin Tree Expert Company, $13,852.80. Atmos Energy, $41,513.97. Coffeyville Regional Medical Center, tax distribution, $103,849.91. Grand River Dam Authority, $3,145,409.23. Kansas Department of Revenue for sales tax, $86,238.77. Southwest Power Pool, $910,060.82. KMG Gas Supply Operating Fund, $417,745. TC Underground for water lines on Woodland and Klein, $119,428. Bennett Incorporated for the Brown Street Sewer Construction Project, $408,444.75. GE Transformers, is that
Prolec, yeah, Gene
Prolec?
Prolec. These are the transformers we're talking about.
Okay, $3,661,900, and a payroll of $482,163.97 for a grand total of $9,673,777.50. And that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions?
I just want to rebuttal on Commissioner Golden's new whistle. Can you find the funds for that? So if inclement weather comes and that we can get that. What fund does that come out of?
I don't recall the number right now, but that is police. That's on the police fund. I don't know that it's as much. Technically, it's budgeted for next year, so we knew it was coming. It's right now the software is down. We have to go out, get the quotes, make sure it's actually going to work. What is it going to take, and then we'll take care of it. So that it is in process. We're not sitting on it. I just don't want to promise that dates. I just don't have that yet, but it's being worked on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other issues, questions, discussion? If not, then I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Palmer, second by Vice Mayor Maples to adjourn. See a show of hands. Thank you.
Thank you.